Now in the previous video I mentioned how you can create workspaces to really customize Photoshop to your workflow. Now we all use Photoshop for different reasons. Some of us are photographers, some of us are designers, 3D designers, video editors. Photoshop can do so many things, and you want to be able to customize it so you're only seeing what is necessary for your workflow. There might be some aspects of Photoshop that you never use, and you're never going to need to see those panels. So you can create your own workspace to really make it work the way you want it to. Now, right now, I've got it set up using the default workspace, which is the Essentials. Now, you'll find your workspace under Window here, and it's the second item here at the very top, Workspace. And you'll notice here are some preset workspaces designed for specific industries. Like if I was going to be working in 3D in Photoshop, here in Photoshop Extended, I could go and select 3D and it will only bring up all the relevant panels I need for editing 3D objects. The 3D panel, of course, Properties panel, Layers, Channels, all these are relevant to editing 3D. Same thing if I was to do motion. If I'm going to do animation, such like that, it's going to bring up the animation timeline here, as well as other features that are relevant to working with video and animation. Again, go to the workspace. I can do photography. It's going to bring up all relevant panels for editing images. So it's really just customizable in any way you want it to be. Now, there are those preset workspaces. I personally like to create my own workspace because I've developed habits and I know what panels I'm going to use most of the time and which ones I'm only going to use some of the time. So I've actually created my own. You'll notice up here at the very top, I've actually created my own 3D workspace as well as my own general workspace. When I go and select these are the panels I only know that I like and that I use most often. Swatches panel for colors, layers, channels, paths. I've got the other panels like the brush panel and all these other brush preset features. All these are few and take up less space, and I can only call up the rest of the panels only when I need them. Now, if you want to create your own workspace, of course, you can just go ahead and arrange the panels any way you like. For instance, if I go over here and, well, let's go back into the Essentials here. And let's just say I wanted to get rid of the adjustment panel and get rid of that one. And I'm going to go and use the color panel here, and I'm just going to, let's say I want to be able to see the history panel, so I'm going to dock it on the side right here. And just something like that. So this is the workspace I want to use, for instance. So when I've got it arranged the way I want it, you will simply go under the window menu again to Workspace and choose down here New Workspace. Oop, not Delete Workspace. No. Let's do New Workspace, and you can go ahead and give it a name. We'll call it Corey Space 3. You can obviously give it something more specific if you like. And if you've also created custom keyboard shortcuts here in Photoshop, you can also add those to this particular workspace, and menus as well. If you've got the menus set up the way you want them, you've got removed a lot of superfluous items, you can actually check these items on and it will remember those settings as well. But in this case, I'm only wanting it to remember the placement of my panels. So go ahead and click Save. Now that workspace is saved, so if I were to go over here and reset my Essentials, let's go and do this. Reset Essentials here. Now, if I wanted to load that workspace, simply go to Workspace now, and there it is, Corey Space 3, and now it loads that particular workspace. So you have a lot of options. Really, if you're brand new to Photoshop, it's really a matter of developing habits and really realizing what panels you use most often and what workflow works best for you. And then once you get to that point, you will go ahead and set up your workspace and then save it, and then you can load it anytime you need it without having to rearrange the panels every time you load Photoshop. Great tip for customizing Photoshop by creating your own custom workspace.